Regulators, if you're listening, low-hanging fruit, insurance for all crypto custodians, and mandatory audits for centralized stablecoins. Welcome to the Blockhead podcast, where we share the most unpopular opinions in crypto. My name is Duh, and today we're going to ruffle some feathers as we talk about crypto regulation. Now, I am not a legislator. I don't actually get a say. I do vote every time voting comes around, and unfortunately, I'm always stuck with a handful of terrible options. So do I expect good regulation? No. Do I expect that the folks that get to write regulation will care about my opinion? In my experience, that's not the case. They don't care about my opinion, and they probably don't care about your opinion. But here we are. I'd like to talk about it anyhow. Maybe I can make a case that will sway you to my side. And if there's enough of us, maybe we can sway a regulator too. So regulation in the world of crypto is kind of a hot button topic. Some people think that regulation is going to kill crypto. Some people think regulation is going to boost crypto. Kevin O'Leary, most famously, is a big advocate of regulation. One of the other big advocates for regulation was Sam Bankman-Fried, who attempted to get regulation to stack things in his favor. My views on regulation are a little more nuanced. On one hand, I don't like the idea of regulation. More often than not, when governments come in to regulate things, they make things worse before they make things better. However, there are some obvious places in crypto that I think regulation can protect crypto users. Now, before we get to that, however, I want to talk about bad regulation. Bad regulation is where you set regulations that you cannot enforce. Now, this is relevant in the world of crypto because crypto is designed in its decentralized fashion in such a way that it's going to be really hard to ban. You can't just say no crypto because of regulatory arbitrage. People are going to get crypto. Remember how the US in particular, but kind of the whole world, has had a ban on drugs, and how that just made all the drugs disappear? Now there's no drug users. Yeah, that ban was a stupid ban. If you can't enforce it, don't make the rules around it. Don't ban it. You're going to look silly. So this applies to things like DeFi, right? So if there's protocol, you can't, as a US entity, reasonably make rules around it and expect for them to be followed. DeFi platforms already self-regulate. They try to keep themselves away from US users. But a good handful of people are not idiots. They know how to use a VPN. They're going to use the DeFi protocols, right? It's going to be very difficult to ban particular cryptos or any particular DeFi protocols or anything of that nature. So I'm going to say, let's not do that. You should not be making regulation that you can't enforce. But here's something that can be enforced and will protect crypto users. These are the low-hanging fruit of regulation and where we should start and where we should have started years ago. Number one, crypto regulators, if you're listening to me, this is the biggest area where you can play a role in protecting crypto users, your citizens. Any entity, any centralized entity that is custodying anybody's funds needs to be insured for the entire amount. I'll say it again. Anybody that is custodying crypto funds that are not their own needs to be insured for the entire amount. So whatever happens, their customer deposits are insured. So I don't know exactly how this is going to look, and chances are there's probably a good way to do it and a better way to do it. And if regulation rolls out, it will be neither of those. But this is the low-hanging fruit to protecting users. More harm has been done from centralized entities losing customers' funds, mostly through fraud, FTX, Celsius, but also through incompetence, and usually a combination of both. Let's talk Quadriga, Voyager, BlockFi. Anyone that is custodying funds needs to be insured. These are the ones where customer funds have been lost. Anybody, Coinbase, custodying user funds needs to be insured. Now there's an ETF custodying funds. I think most of them are using like a Coinbase, needs to be insured. Now, I don't know what insurance looks like on this. I'm not an expert in insurance, but I do know that more harm has been done from centralized entities attempting poorly to custody other people's funds. That is the obvious place for regulation. Now, is it going to be expensive? I have no idea. I know that market rate for insurance on these types of things, Nexus Mutual, check them out, was about 2% per year. So I think that's expensive. It's pretty expensive to me. But here's the point. Nobody should be custodying anybody else's funds in the first place. If you're doing crypto right, it's not expensive because you're not custodying customers' funds. Low-hanging fruit for crypto regulation, insurance for all crypto custodians. Number 2, centralized stablecoins need to be audited. And any centralized stablecoin that is not audited doesn't need to be banned. That's hard, but could be blacklisted. I think that the first biggest threat to crypto is crypto custodians. Second biggest threat to crypto is these stable coins, billions and billions and billions of theoretical dollars that are unaccounted for. Tether, yes, I'm looking at you, Tether. People, stop using Tether until they can have some transparency. I will assume that they are lying. Centralized stablecoins, USDC, Tether, PayPal coin, Paxos, whoever it's through, needs frequent auditing to ensure that the amount of funds that they say are backing their stablecoin are indeed backing their stablecoin. Then further audits should be done, just like they do with large banks, to assess the risk that they are taking. If you're not aware of the business model of a USDC, they work similar to a bank. They take in your dollar deposits, they give you USDC on chain, then they take your dollar deposits and they buy typically bonds or other safe-ish assets, yield-bearing assets. Only with the explosion or the downfall of Silicon Valley Bank, we know that even safe assets have some risk. And so these centralized stablecoin issuers, I don't want to, this shouldn't overflow to decentralized stablecoins. All of those funds are absolutely transparent. You can go on chain and check for yourself all the assets that are backing them. They're all there. But the centralized coins, it's all very murky. It's all very dark. Some of them have chosen to do audits, and to them, I applaud. To those, I believe USDC, I applaud you. Paxos, I believe you've done a good job. BUSD, I'm not even sure if that's around anymore, but I believe they did an audit. But it needs to be a frequent thing. It needs to happen every 3 months, and the assets backing them need to be vetted for safety. Because as soon as one of these stablecoins blow up, it's going to leave an enormous hole in the whole crypto ecosystem. So, regulators, if you're listening, low-hanging fruit, insurance for all crypto custodians, and mandatory audits for centralized stablecoins. So, is crypto regulation good or bad? No, not necessarily. Neither one. Good regulation will be good for the crypto ecosystem, good for crypto users. Bad regulation is just going to be embarrassing for everyone, as it's probably going to get ignored. That's all I've got for you today. I do hope that there is some sort of regulator listening to my podcast. If I do hope that there is some sort of regulator that catches wind of this podcast and is swayed in the direction of good regulation. Hey, blockheads. Thanks for listening. We're going to get you back to the podcast in just a minute, but before we do, there's something I want to share with you. I believe that if crypto is going to succeed, what it needs is fewer speculators and more knowledgeable users. That's why my mission is to take the crypto curious and empower them to become confident, competent crypto users. So if you're like me and you believe that crypto has a role in the future beyond speculation, I invite you to join the Blockhead community. All you have to do is visit Blockhead.Finance and join our mailing list. Optionally, if you have a self-custody Polygon address with at least 5 Matic in it, you qualify for our Blockhead airdrop. That's right. Just put in your Polygon address and we will airdrop you some useless DUH tokens. Let us know what topic you want us to cover next, and we will double your useless tokens. Don't have a Polygon address? You are in luck. We've included a short video about how to set one up. So join us at Blockhead.Finance, and congratulations on being amongst the brightest of crypto early adopters.